Good morning, Bullard High School Knights, and welcome back to school. It has been, it's been a while, hasn't it? It's been a little over a year now, and we want to let you know that we are very proud of how you have all stuck with it, have persevered, have demonstrated your resiliency. Now it's back. Now it's time to get back into the swing of things here. So we want to start off by being able to share with you both academic and behavioral standards that we want to see on our Bullard High School campus for all of you and for all of us as a school, as a Bullard High School family. So we're going to be going through some slides today, going through some presentation today, just to get everybody acquainted again with being back on campus. And we know we don't have everybody back on campus yet, but someday soon we will be there. This is just the start of getting to that place as soon as we possibly can. On this slide, you do see how you can stay connected with Bullard High School. So follow us. The handles are the same at BHS Knight 55, and that is both for our Twitter and the Instagram account. So make sure you do have that that handle available so that you can follow the things happening, all the great things happening at Bullard High School. As we go to our next slide here, I want to be able to share with you, kind of just to get right into this idea of our expectations for academics. So we want everyone to be at school every day. We want you to be on time. We want you to be present in class, and that doesn't mean just being there, right? Being present in class means being there mentally, physically, spiritually, meaning be in the spirit of learning, be in the spirit of being an incredible student for yourselves, for our teachers, for your parents, and to come prepared every single day. So what does that mean? It means you need to bring your laptops, you need to bring them charged from the night before, you need to bring your chargers with you and your headphones that you'll be collecting today. And you also need to make sure you have your school ID, backpack, and textbooks with you. And then shoes for PE, right? We're not going to be able to get into the locker rooms and change. So if you feel you need a different pair of shoes for PE, make sure you do that. And everybody's goal here is to attain a C grade or better in each of your classes. Takes commitment, takes dedication. We're going to be here for you. We need you to be here for yourselves and for us as well. And so Mrs. Perez is going to be taking us to do our student IDs.
Hello, Knights. This is VP Mrs. Perez. I just want to welcome everybody back. So student ID cards. We want to make sure that all students understand that they must have their ID cards with them while on campus. But just to make sure, I just want to let you guys know that you will not be getting your ID card necessarily on the first day back, but we will get them out to you all, especially the seniors that want to go off campus. So just be patient with us, and we'll get you guys your ID cards. Why do you need to have your ID cards with you? First of all, it's a safety matter, identifying our students. You need to have your ID card on you to receive your lunch at the kiosk or the cafeteria. You also, if you are a bus rider, you must present your ID card to the bus driver to get on the buses. You need your ID card to check out library books, and once we are allowed to have dances and buy tickets, you are required to show your ID card at school activities, and you can earn positive rewards for Spirit Days as well. What if I don't have an ID card? If you do not have an ID card, if you're new to Bullard, you did not take your school pictures, we will have a designated spot, which is the counseling office, where you can go in there and take a picture with Ms. Edwards. Please make sure you do that before school, during lunch, or after school, not during class time, to get a new ID card. Some expectations for behavior. Dr. Alvarado did a great job on getting us prepared, getting you mentally prepared. So we want to make sure that when you return to campus, you respect each other and your differences. We want to make sure that you respect all staff members by complying to the school rules. Make sure that you do not have cell phones in class unless your teacher is using it for a lesson, right? It's at the teacher's discretion. And please remember, no eating or drinking during class time. You may be able to eat during lunchtime in some of your teachers' classrooms if they open up the classrooms for you guys. And as always, make sure you get a C or better in all your classes.
And just so that we go ahead and make sure that we're introducing all of our team here, our administrative team here, I want to be able to introduce everyone to you. So many of you know Dr. Sanders. Dr. Sanders will be supporting all of our students with the last names A through E. Many of you remember Ms. Perez, who will be supporting students F through L. And new to our campus, but you might remember Ms. Nunez, supporting students last names M through RO. And we have helping us out this year, Mr. Weaver. He'll be supporting students RU through Z. And then we also have Mr. Peters. Mr. Peters will be supporting our re-engagement and student support center. So this is our administration team.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Godfernon. I'm the head counselor, and this is a slide showing our counseling department. Many of you know your counselor, but just a reminder, they are assigned by last name and grade level, and these folks are here to help you with anything you need. You definitely should reach out to them. Many of you have met with them. They are meeting with 9th through 11th graders right now to talk about your classes for next year. But if you do want to meet with them, or you want to request a meeting, you can go online to bhsguidance.com and make an appointment. You can reach out to them on Teams, either chat or send them a message. You can have a Teams meeting, and you can also email them. So they are here if you need any support, and they will continue doing their meetings online. The next person to talk is going to be Mr. Peters.
How's it going, Bullard? This is Mr. Peters here. Our Bullard campus has 7 CSAs to help you each and every day. They're divided up into the quadrants of our campus, so like north, south, east, west. They wear yellow and black apparel, and they are Ms. Rubalcaba, Mr. Small, Mr. Mason, Mr. Zavala, Ms. Zavala, Mr. Garcia, and Mr. Fleming, all returning to us from the previous year, except for Mr. Garcia, who is new to the Bullard campus. Oh, and we have Mr. Betancourt. Hey, and at Bullard High School, we live the nightlife. The nightlife means that all nights show kindness, nobility, integrity, greatness, helpfulness, and trustworthiness.
So boys and girls, students, Bullard High School students, I want to spend a little bit of time on the cell phone policy. It was mentioned earlier that we're going to work really hard to make sure that cell phones are not being used in the classroom. So let me set this up for you before I get into the actual cell phone policy. I want you to know, and feel free to email me if you'd like to have the research article on this, or feel free to conduct your own research. But there's research that tells us that distractions affect the way people learn, making the knowledge they gain harder to use in the future. So I want you to think about that as the reason why we're moving towards this cell phone policy that we're going to talk about here in a second. There's also a study by the Kaiser Family Foundation that basically says this. They found 3rd graders through 12th graders spending on average 6.5 hours per day watching television, videos, listening to music, playing video games, and being on their computers. And if you kind of think about that, we are in class 4 hours a day. So it stands to reason that we're spending more time on technology, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but when it's being done in the classroom that distracts us from learning, that could be a potential problem. And so when a student is trying to learn new concepts, new information, being distracted from learning is not good. And we're trying to address this research. So this is one of the things we're going to be putting in place in our cell phone policy. So as you see the next slide, our next slide tells us that we do not want to have cell phones being used during class session. Now that doesn't just mean being in class. It means using the cell phone during class time, the 80 minutes. What I mean by that is this: if you choose to use the bathroom, that is still during class session. So you're not supposed to be outside on the hallways on your cell phone. The only time that is permissible to use your cell phone is during break, before school, during break, at lunch, and always after school, right? So this is what's going to happen if you use your cell phone during the class time. One, you will get a reminder, possibly reminders, but we're not going to be playing games, right? There's a lot of kids on this campus, and we can't be reminding over and over about using the cell phone. If it gets to the point where the cell phone needs to be removed from you, you will be sent to N11. The cell phone will be confiscated, and you will be able to pick it up after school. There may be a point in time where your parents are going to have to pick up the phone for you. Boys and girls, this is not us wanting to be mean to you. This is about understanding what the research says about being in the spirit of learning during class time, and being distracted by the cell phone is not what we want to encourage on this campus. And then also a side note, we know we like listening to music during break periods or lunch. We are asking all students to make sure you do not have both of your earbuds in your ears. You need to be able to listen to what's happening on campus, either from an adult or if a siren goes off, you need to be able to have access to hearing that. So that's the reason for making sure you do not have both earbuds in your ears. So thank you for listening to that.
When we talk about technology, we have to mention digital citizenship. At Bullard, I get the pleasure of being the gaggle guy. So remember that anything you post online can be shared and saved without your knowledge. Many of you have already heard from me this year regarding such matters. Anything you post should be appropriate to read or be viewed by your family, teachers, and so forth. You can commit a suspendable consequence for the inappropriate use of technology. Those could include, but are not limited to, cyberbullying, harassment, instigating or aiding starting a fight, and distribution of inappropriate pictures or posts. Your digital footprint, right? Your laptop teams are monitored by a gaggle, so anything that comes across the Fresno Unified server, no matter from what device it was sent, is monitored by gaggle. In the event that you don't behave as we request you to do so at Bullard, we'll send you to the Student Support Center. There are levels of misbehavior that will be covered with you in your advisory class. And N11 is your Student Support Center. This refers to behavior and also SEL support initially. After school detention may be assigned, cell phones may be confiscated, and this room is housing Ms. Helton, Ms. Alameda, and Ms. Flores.
Thank you. So I have this next slide, and this is our non-privileged list. We're going to do our best, Bullard High School students, to not have to use this, right? No one wants to put anyone on the non-privileged list, which then results in not being able to participate in games, in dances, and other activities. So the way someone gets on the non-privileged list is by not following certain rules, right? So we're going to make sure that we do a really good job in trying to reduce the number of kids that are placed on the non-privileged list, and we're going to do that by putting sound support structures. This is one of the reasons why we're going over these rules and expectations now, so that you clearly understand what the expectations are, what then happens when misbehavior is occurring, that's being sent to the Student Support Center if needed. And once there, that is when the non-privileged list will begin to be generated or created. So we'll be in space with you to talk to you more about if you are on this list and what it means exactly. So for right now, just remember to stay off of the non-privileged list, follow the rules and the expectations that we are putting forward to you today.
Hello, students. As a reminder, I'm VP Sanders. Hall passes. So if you need to use a hall pass to use the restroom, or if you're going to a various place on campus, you need to have a hall pass. There are no passes that will be issued the first 10 minutes or last 10 minutes of class. The pass must be visible at all times, and just a reminder that there are passes for each area on campus. And if a staff member asks you for your pass, you do need to show it to them, any staff member on campus. And if you do not have a pass, or your pass is not filled out properly, you will be sent back to class.
If you have an open period, we want to make sure that you are not on campus without supervision. So you either need to not be on campus during your open period, or if you do need to be on campus during your open period, please make sure you are waiting in the designated seating in the quad. You also need to make sure you receive an open period sticker from Ms. Edwards in the counseling office, as you will likely be asked to show your ID when you are not in class.
As a reminder, for lunchtime, students cannot hang out in the hallways of the 4 major buildings. So if you're going to those areas, you need to make sure that you're in a classroom, not hanging outside. That's the South Hall, the North Hall, the Northwest building, and the Southwest building. You can hang out in the quad or the green quad or the South lane during lunch. Another area that you cannot hang out in is the snack bar area, which is right next to the cafeteria. There is a yellow line that surrounds that area. So make sure that, yes, you can walk through there, but you can't loiter in that area. And you also need to make sure that you throw away your trash. Otherwise, those areas may be closed down if we can't keep that area clean. So here's just a picture of the acceptable areas. I know it's been a while since we've been on campus, so perhaps you've forgotten what these areas look like. So the main quad and the green quad, those are those areas that are acceptable to hang out in during lunch.
Hi, I'm Vice Principal Nunez. So if you have to use a bike or skateboard to get to school, that's perfectly okay. We just ask that you lock them up in either the skateboard rack or the bike rack so that it's secure. If a teacher allows you to use the lock the skateboard up or store the skateboard in their classroom or in an administrator's office, that's perfectly okay, but please make sure you get approval. And I'll also note that if something happens to those bikes, teachers and admin are not responsible. So just we strongly suggest that you lock them up.
Safety is of paramount importance. So we're going to cover the fire evacuation procedures currently. Students located in the following areas will evacuate to the bowl by Browning. That's the Northwest, North Gym, North Classes, South Gym, and the pool. Students located in the below areas will evacuate to the South Field by Gibson. That's the Southwest building, South Classes, and the cafeteria. The next slide will show a map of the evacuation routes. And the one thing I would like you to notice here really is to follow the instructions of your teacher, and when passing near or around the parking lots, stay out of the vehicles that are in the center of the lot. Make sure you stay on the perimeter of those lots. And where do you go if the fire alarm goes off, but you're not in class? So if the fire alarm goes off at the following times, like a passing period, you're always going to go to the next period that you haven't been to, and you're going to go directly to the spot on the field, not to the class itself. So if you're at the passing period between first and second period, you would go to the second period spot. During lunch, you would go to your fifth period spot on the field, And after school is the only time we would go back in time. So if it's after school, you would go to your 6th period spot on the field. Before school, you'd report to where the 1st period spot is, and any open period, and those open periods are 1st and 6th. So 1st you'd go to your 2nd period spot, and 6th you'd go back to 5th.
Dress code. So we all know that dress code is probably one of the most important things to our students, right? So we want to make sure that you are in dress code. First of all, face piercings are allowed, right? So you can go ahead and have face piercings. No clothing article 50% or more of red or royal blue, or what some people may call Dodger blue. So this includes shirts, belts, shoes, shoelaces, etc. Right? No more than 50% of that single item. Not I can wear red jeans and I have a white shirt, right? So you got to make sure that on every specific clothing item is no more than 50%. No college logos, mascots that represent gang members. For example, Fresno State, if you wear the shirt with just the Bulldog, it is not allowed. We do at Bullard High School offer college Mondays to help promote college applications and four-year universities. So on Mondays, you will be allowed to wear any college logo. No headgear are to be worn while in class. No hats or beanies in class. You may wear them outside, but not in the classrooms. Thank you. So these are some examples of not acceptable because of the colors. As you can see, that blue is a royal blue, and the red is more than 50% for those specific clothing items. So those are not acceptable on our campus.
Miss Nunez, you're muted.
Sorry about that. I don't know why it did that. Okay. Also, no sagging pants and no pro teams, professional teams, soccer, basketball, football, it doesn't matter. So no pro teams like the Lakers, Raiders, etc. Also, make sure that all your shorts and your skirts are no shorter than your mid-thigh, so about 50% of your mid-thigh. And your jeans must be in good condition, so no frayed edges or big holes above the knee, as you can see in those pictures. So some examples of acceptable clothing would be these jeans and some shorts that are not showing 50% of the thigh, some stretchy jeans, or also these the skirt that's also above the thigh, but not more than 50%.
Here are some examples of some unacceptable clothing items. As you can tell, the midriff on the first picture, right? We want to make sure if your hands, you should not be showing any midriff. If your hands go up and your shirt goes up, that means it's too short. The next person, this dress that she has on, see how it rises up on the thighs. Make sure that that is unacceptable. Our jeans on the bottom, remember, no holes above 50% above the knees, right? So that's why those are considered out of dress code. Same thing on the right, and on the lady wearing the leggings, you can wear leggings. Just make sure that the shirt that she's wearing isn't showing your midriff. Again, shorts need to be 50%, showing 50% or less of the thigh. Just remember, no tank tops, right? No tube tops, halter tops, or spaghetti straps. No razorbacks, no midriffs, right? We want to make sure that your undergarments are not being shown as well. So this is why these are out of dress code.
So some acceptable shoes are the sandals that you see with have the back strap, and the sneakers. Those are okay. They're not 50. They're not red, so that's okay too. And flip-flops are also okay, but as we said before, if you're planning to have PE that day, you might want to bring an extra pair.
All right, remember we all can be aspiring leaders on campus, so you want to make sure that you are setting a good example for everyone on campus and help keep our campus clean by picking up trash or encouraging others to be on their best behavior. Help others be successful, and that could be inside the classroom or outside the classroom, online, in the classroom, and make sure that you have respect for your teachers and each other. Also, on that note, we'd like to see you get involved. As we come back to school, some things will slowly roll out, and if there are things available to you, some extracurricular activities, please join those. Things like athletics, clubs, music, and the arts. Mondays we wear our college spirit gear, which I know we're still online, but we do have advisory, and you could be wearing that there. Or Spirit Fridays, you're wearing your Bullard Spirit gear, and then participating in dress-up days. We also would like to have a safe campus, and so if you're having an issue with another student, ask a staff member to help you and find a proper solution. Be the example, don't be the exception. We do have a anonymous tip line where you can report anything that might be coming that maybe we should know about, so that maybe we can help prevent an issue from happening. So please take note of that number, and that should be up also around campus. And there's just this is what the poster looks like, and that's the phone number. You can report things like potential fight, vandalism or damage, bullying, harassment, drugs, or any other thing that might be concerning.
So Bullard High School students, one of the things that we're needing to make sure that we have in place are limiting the number of entrances and exits on this campus. It is very important, not only for supervision, but to promote a safe environment, especially in the situation that we're currently existing in now. So there'll be more messages, continued messages happening to the homes. But right now we want you to remember this. We are expecting all students to enter in one of 3 locations. All student parking will be occurring in the north parking lot, and access into school will be through the north main hallway. You will see a tent there, a table. There'll be face masks. If you happen to forget, please don't forget your face mask. It's very important that you have that with you at all times. The second area where entrance will be allowed is in the front of the school. We ask that your parents drop you off in the middle of the circle drive. You will enter through the main area of the office, or again, you'll see a tent, a table, and more supplies will be available there. And then our third entrance area will be for our buses. Our buses are either going to park alongside Barstow Avenue, or they may be entering through the U Circle Drive in the south parking lot. The thing to remember here, boys and girls, is if you are driving, you are going to need 1, to park in the north parking lot, and 2, you will need a parking permit more information to come regarding that.
As a reminder about the face masks, they are required and they need to cover your mouth and your nose, just like our two A+ students right there on the slide. Make sure that you have, if you're going to wear a face shield, you can, but you need to have your face mask on still. So the face mask is always required. If you would like to have something extra, you can have that. Gaiters and bandanas are not acceptable.
So boys and girls, just as a reminder, this, which I've often worn, I have to change. This is not acceptable. This is a gaiter. So I'm going to have to get rid of this, and I'm going to have to become more practiced at wearing a face mask. Look at that, Bullard High School soccer.
Bus riders, if you're a bus rider, Mr. Alvarado or Dr. Alvarado already kind of mentioned that you're going to be on the Barstow side. There is a corridor between PE and the Southwest building. We're going to ask that you line up there on the poles. You will need a sticker, and we will get those to you by the 16th. There's no leaving campus between 2 and 4. The afternoon bus does pick up at 4 p.m. And we're asking that students stay in the main or green quad area between 2 and 4 p.m.
So Bullard High School students, I have the opportunity here to give the last thought. So first of all, what I know that we have gone through a lot of information this morning. We thank you for being patient and attentive, because all the information that is shared with you is meant to give you the best opportunity to be successful here while on campus. My last thought to you is about this, that I want to be very strategic about behavior on this campus, that we want to be practitioners of not crossing the line. So this message, this short message, is about not crossing the line. And basically what I mean by that is this: it is appropriate, it's very appropriate and very okay to have your own belief about things, about politics, about how you feel you should dress, about how you feel you should look, about how you feel you should speak. And that is perfectly okay, and we're going to support that. But what is not okay, and what tends to be problematic, and what tends to get us in crossing the line, is when we begin to tell others that their beliefs are not okay. That is when it becomes problematic. So when we begin to say that my belief is better than your belief, and we're saying that to somebody else, that's when it becomes problematic, and that's when we cross the line. And crossing the line then requires for our Student Support Center to follow up. And we want to do less of that this year. So if we can just remember that message, I think it's going to be a fantastic year. We ask that you be kind, that you support each other, that you respect each other, and for the remainder of this school year, that we ask that we all finish strong as we have the opportunity to come back to class and to be in spaces what learning used to be like in the classroom, right? So we thank you again for your time. We appreciate each of you, and we're happy to see you back on campus. Have a wonderful rest of the day, fantastic week, and go Knights.